Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. You're on another ride along with the mighty Roaring Pigeon 71, also known as Gator Unleashed. Got to mix things up a little bit tonight, guys. Gonna do a short video. I'm gonna start a little movie spotlight series. This is some stuff that a lot of guys and likes these movies. I love these a good movie. So I got to thinking it might be something good to bring to the channel. Oh, there's only so many guns. There's only so many times you can go over things like over-penetration, and the comfort of a good holster, how that will inspire you to carry your weapon, which you certainly need to carry your weapon. If you want to buy one, you certainly need to carry it. It's not going to do you any good at the house. But on that subject, I have become a total lover of the Taurus G3C. I just love it. I don't know why it's not my favorite gun. My tactical gear holster. I talk about comfort, carrying the things, being able to access it quickly. This gun, my little short fingers, I can come out there. This is what you have to do when you practice. Oh, you have to practice getting that gun out. You have to be able to manipulate your firearm. I can reach that safety with my little fat thumb right there. Get over where you can see that. I have to practice come out. If I pull that trigger, this is going to fire right now. I put the safety back on. I can manipulate this firearm with one hand. In my opinion, that's what you want to be able to do with your firearm. You know, if you're in a, chances are, if you're in a, something blows up on you, you may have somebody right up on you. I mean, you may have this hand tied up. If you can't manipulate that safety with your one hand that you withdraw your pistol with, you know, what are you going to do? You ain't going to be able to fire your gun. Could get you killed. The most simple things wins the battle, guys. The most simple things wins the battle, wins the wars, wins in life, always. Movie feature, boys. There's lots of things in my mind that leads to a good movie. Sometimes, and moods is part of that. Sometimes, sometimes I'm in the mood for a movie that isn't serious and isn't, you know, a good comedy. Then you got fiction, nonfiction. The mood you're in has a big part of what type of movie you want to choose to watch. I love American history. I love war movies, and then I love true stories. So the movie I'm going to mention to you guys tonight and suggest that you watch covers all three of those. And you've probably seen it. This is one of the greatest movies. This is, you know, you start talking about your favorite movies of all time, it's almost impossible to pick. It's almost impossible for me to pick five. There's just so many good movies. But this movie, if I got pinned down and had to pick one, this would be my favorite movie of all time. And the name of the movie is Sergeant York. Sergeant York. Most of you guys that subscribes to my channel and watches my videos, you probably know about this movie. But you may not. And I would hate to think that I didn't bring it to the channel, just in case you haven't seen it. Guys, this is one of the greatest movies of all time. The movie was done in 1941. Oh, and it says it was released in 1941 when the United States was on the brink of another war. This movie is set in World War I. And the movie is about Alvin C. York, who was raised in extremely northern Tennessee, right on the Tennessee-Kentucky line. By the time he was 32 years old, he had never been farther than like 11 miles from his birthplace. He just never had left that area. Of course, that was more common back then. Gary Cooper plays Alvin C. York, who later becomes Sergeant York. And he was a pretty wild character, kind of what his life was about in the movie. The movie's based on a true story and supposedly very accurate. Didn't go to church and stuff, and but he was born. He was always interested in shooting rifles, shooting firearms. And back then, all he had was I guess it was muzzleloader. But he was an expert marksman. Always, just naturally gifted marksman. And that's kind of what led to him making a name for himself. But he winds up getting religious and And then about the time that happens, World War One starts, and the United States gets involved, and he gets drafted. Um, if you get the movie, I suggest strongly that you get the old black and white version. It's way better. They redone it in color later. You know how they take those movies and digitally make them color. For me, at least, it just wasn't the same. This movie also stars Walter Brennan. Some of you old guys, I think you'll know who Walter Brennan is. Just one of the greatest actors ever. Uh, Gary Cooper, certainly one of the greatest actors. It's got some woman named Joan Leslie. I'm not really sure who she is. She probably plays Gracie Williams in the movie. That's who Alvin York winds up marrying. But I was going to touch on a minute ago. This movie was nominated for a total of 11 Oscars, including Best Picture, a winner for Best Film Editing, and movie directed by Howard Hawks. It tells of a religious man's moral crisis, heroics, and subsequent return to the rural life he loved, refusing to capitalize on the adulation heaped upon him. It's a very patriotic movie. When you watch it, it almost, if you aren't careful, it will make you sad when you look at our country today, how divided we are, and everybody should watch this movie. It would help our whole country. It would help our whole country if they made this mandatory that everybody watch this once a year throughout their high school years. I think it would help them. But anyway, if you get a chance to watch this, if you could buy it on DVD, it would certainly be a movie you'll want, I think. But if not, you may be able to rent it somewhere or something. Just a great movie, guys. And I'm not going to say a whole lot about it, just in case you haven't watched it. I don't want to have any spoilers. I'll say this: he gets the Congressional Medal of Honor, and I'll say this: he's the most decorated soldier of World War One. Alvin C. York, and they have in Tennessee. They have turned his home place into a state park. Oh, and we've went down there several times on motorcycles, and actually in cars with the family, and you can spend a few hours down there. There's not a whole big lot to look at, but it used to not be run. It used not to be a state park. It used to be just privately funded. Now it's an actual state park, and it's got a lot better since then. They have an army tank there. It's a little better, more exciting now. But they've got some stuff there. They've got like a helmet that he wore in World War One. Just all kinds of stuff. It's got the old house that they built for him. Just watch the movie and you'll see what I'm talking about. But yeah, I think I'm going to start doing a little movie. I don't know exactly how to word it, but a little movie consideration video every so often. Because, most of us guys, we like our guns, we like our four-wheel drive trucks. Oh, we like the American flag. And we also like a good old movie. So, and we'll see how it goes. I'm always going to touch on something firearm related in all my videos. I've done the SKS rifle video last night. SKS rifle is a top-notch rifle, guys. And I just went over some things on it and pretty much showed it off on the channel. And I guess that's all I've got. When I do my videos, I don't have any kind of pre-planned or anything scripted. I just sit down and start talking. You see, my wife won't talk to me. And if I just sit and talk to her, she gets annoyed. Because we've been together for like 34 years. And that's just what happens, That's just what happens. 34 years is a long time to be with somebody, especially when you're only 50. I just turned 52. Oh, but anyway, we do pretty good. But yeah, Sergeant York, guys. Remember the black and white version. I think you'll like it better. But, if you can only get the color version, my point of view on not liking the color version, I'd seen the black and white version so many times, it just didn't seem right to me. But if you've never seen it, the color version might be fine. It's just, to me, it don't look right. But anyway, having said all that, I believe that's all I've got for. I can't really talk about the movie because I don't want to spoil it for you. Of course, it's American history, and you may already know, but regardless, I think that's all I can say about the movie Sergeant York. I just strongly recommend you watch it. Remember, guys, carry some good self-defense ammo in your firearm, something that's not going to over-penetrate, look into that. Practice with you some home defense rounds in your firearm. Make sure your firearm will function them and feed them. That's very important. That's more important than accuracy. Um, in my mind, accuracy is not near the top of the list on your carry personal protection weapon. If anything happens, it's going to be so close range. You know, and if they've run off, if they're 25 yards away, you don't need to shoot them anyway. We had a shootout in Eastern Kentucky today. Some guy decided he was going to have a shootout with the police, and they killed him. Don't really know details. It wasn't long ago there was a shootout, and the guy killed I'm not sure, he killed at least 3 police officers. I think one of them was a state policeman and 2 were county. It's just wild times, guys, right now. Everybody's on edge, and the media's got everybody so divided. They want us all divided. It's just so easy to see what they're doing. But guys, here we are on day 2 of this year, 2023. Let's try to make the best we can out of it. Going to bring a lot of good movie stuff to the channel. Going to have all kinds of firearm stuff still. Still planning on a firing range. Be a little more shooting. I think people enjoy that. But guys, 2 things out of this video. The Taurus G3C. I just love it more all the time. Sergeant York. Check it out, guys. Everybody have a great evening and a great week. We'll catch you on the next video.